AI is going to play a big role. It's already playing a role today, but we have this whole concept, and I know it's the holy grail of payroll, and AI is going to play a role in helping us to do that. This is about automation, about leveraging all the capabilities we already have today. And it's about leveraging AI to make things simple for the future. When I think of payroll, I think of people. Payroll is about people. Payroll is about ensuring that people have an amazing experience with their compensation, which is a part of the culture of the company that they are part of.
Keeping businesses thriving, compliance and safe, forecasting strategy, it's all on our mind. It's time payroll took its place in the boardroom to shine.
What does global payroll without borders actually look like in real life? It's one platform handling every country you operate in. Real-time insights, automated tax logic, and zero handoffs between HR, IT, finance, or local vendors. That's exactly what happens when payroll runs on Deal's own global infrastructure. It's faster, it's cleaner, and built for teams that need accuracy every single time. See it for yourself at deel.com/nickday. Global payroll is no longer a back office function. It's becoming one of the most strategic intelligence centers inside modern organizations. It's now driving business decisions, culture, and competitive advantage. And today we're joined by one of the world's leading voices shaping that transformation. But before I introduce today's guest, welcome back to the Payroll Podcast. My name is Nick Day. I'm the host of this show. I'm also the CEO at JGA Recruitment Group. We're a specialist global payroll recruiter. Please do remember to click subscribe or follow depending on where you catch this content. And most importantly, please try and share this episode with one of your colleagues or one of your payroll friends so that together we can really raise the profile of payroll worldwide. And today I'm with someone who's been doing exactly that. I'm joined today by Curtis Holmes, Executive Vice President of Global Payroll at Vistra. Now, Curtis brings more than a decade of leadership experience across multinational payroll operations, from AI transformation to pay transparency to regulatory disruption to the evolving expectations of modern workforces. Curtis has a front row seat to the trends that are redefining global payroll. So, without further ado, Curtis, welcome today to the Payroll Podcast. How are you feeling?
Nick, I'm feeling great, and it's wonderful to be here with you today, and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our chat today.
As am I. And of course, you were the former CEO of iiPay, which was recently acquired by Vistra. Not all of our listeners may be familiar with that. That was obviously because of the cutting-edge global payroll technology you now have at your fingertips. I know you oversee that. I'm going to dive into all of that content in a moment. Before I do, first question, what does the word payroll mean to you?
Oh, Nick, great question. When I think of payroll, I think of people. Payroll is about people. Payroll is about ensuring that people have an amazing experience with their compensation, which is a part of the culture of the company that they are part of. And so to me, payroll is just, how do you make sure people get their compensation on time, accurately, and compliantly, and they don't spend any other time thinking about that. They're focused on how do they create value for their companies and for their company's clients. So that's what payroll means.
What a great place to start. Hallelujah. I agree with that. Well, look, let's start with your journey. Can you share a little bit about your background from your roots in, of course, in software development, where you spent over 30 years, to, of course, leading iiPay and now shaping global payroll strategy at Vistra?
Oh, Nick, I would love to share with you my payroll journey, my actually career journey. First of all, I started my career in software development at Bell Labs. And at that time, more than 30 plus years ago, the smartest software developers in the world worked at Bell Laboratories, and that's the only place I wanted to work. So had an exciting and amazing career at Bell Laboratories, which became Lucent Technologies. Had a chance to build major capabilities. When you think of, for example, even in the UK, at the time it was called Advanced Free Phone or 800 services in the US, we actually developed that. I was a part of a team that wrote that software many years ago. And so it was an exciting time. So I spent probably 17, 18 years at my career at Bell Labs, moved up to an executive ranks. And I would tell you the thing that was most exciting throughout that journey was really having the opportunity to work with amazing people. For me, it's always about people. It's always about not what did I do, but what did we do as a team. And one of the things we always talk about, or that I like to share with the team, is back in 1996, I had the opportunity to become an executive for the first time. And then we took over an organization that was losing money, that wasn't growing revenue, didn't have the best products. But within 4 years, we took that company from 50 million plus to over 250 million plus of that department.
Wow.
We made it profitable. We won the world's largest clients across the globe. It was an exciting time. Then I had the opportunity to leave that and transition to a company called Metasolve Software. Had the chance to come in as chief operating officer and a member of the board. We did some amazing work there, serving telecommunications providers. Did that for about 2.5 years, then became CEO and member of the board there. And we did an amazing job, turned the company around, grew revenue, made it profitable. And again, partnered with the largest global clients in the world. So that was an exciting time. And we sold that company to Oracle. At the time, I thought I would be retired. So I spent a little bit of time just relaxing, doing nothing but sitting on small corporate boards. And then we formed another company in enterprise risk management. We developed that company, then merged it into Cisco, did great work there. And then what was really exciting, I get this call from Teakwood Capital. And they said, Curtis, we have this amazing company. It's going to be a rocket ship. And it was in payroll. And I'm thinking, I didn't know there was a payroll space. I didn't know there were payroll companies, because I'm just used to, you're just going to get paid, and you just know you get paid every week, every 2 weeks, every month. But it's been an amazing journey, Nick. It'll be 10 years in May. So joined iiPay first as chief operating officer, then became CEO. And essentially what's exciting about that, we actually took a company and grew the revenue 20x. We actually got it to break even profitability. And more importantly, we serve some of the largest and most important clients in the world, blue chip client list. And that was an exciting time, exciting journey. But then we knew, Nick, at the time, that we need to be part of something bigger. We have done great work, but we said there's an opportunity to do even greater work in the payroll space. Large market, growing market. And we were fortunately acquired by Vistra. And wow, that was in May of last year, May 30th. In June, we took off. So it's been about a 7-8 month journey, and it's been an exciting journey. But it's my career is really not just about me. It's about the amazing people that I've had an opportunity to partner with, my colleagues who do amazing work every day. And that's what it's been about. So it's been an exciting journey. It's one that I'm glad to now know the payroll space after almost 10 years now. And it's an exciting space, one that is not always recognized the way it should be. The people aren't always recognized. The importance of the industry isn't always recognized. But wow, we're making great progress. And what you're doing, Nick, is bringing payroll to the forefront, not just in the payroll arena, but in the work. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I think the payroll industry is very fortunate to have you join its ranks for the last decade. And I think you're clearly very passionate about people. Yeah. I think some of the greatest people in the world work in payroll. Maybe I'm biased, but that's just what I think. They're selfless. They work in the background. Brilliant.
Yes. Wait, let me just comment on that. I'll give you an example. I mean, when I think about you talk about some of the greatest people in the world in payroll. I've had many teams throughout my, let's call it 40-year career. The most amazing team I've ever been a part of is the leadership team and the payroll team at iiPay. So when you talk about people who are humble, who are experienced, who are committed, and Nick, we have this concept that we may not always get it all right. We may not be at 100% perfection. We have a concept that we leave it all on the field every single day. That's what matters. And I can tell you the payroll professionals at iiPay and now Vistra, we're working every day to leave it all on the field. So it's an exciting journey.
I love that. Now, I'm guessing 10 years ago, you must have been relatively flooded with potential opportunities with the a fantastic CV or resume you'd kind of curated for yourself during that time. What was it specifically that drew you into payroll technology? I mean, I understand it turned out to be a wonderful move for you, right. But It's not often you put rocket ship and fast moving together. It's certainly not 10 years ago. And it's very hard to pull people into the payroll industry if they haven't been part of it almost from the very early part in their career. So tell me a little bit about that side.
Nick, I have to be really frank with you about this. When I was asked by Teakwood Capital, who owned iPay at the time, to join, and they said it was a payroll company, they said it was a technology company, I was okay because it was technology. I was okay because it was Teakwood. It was people that I had worked with before. And I had this concept of whatever it is, we'll make it work. But Nick, until I joined, I had no idea what the payroll industry was. I had no idea what it meant to process payroll, implement payroll. I had no concept of compliance and regulatory challenges. So Nick, it was all new to me, but I love a challenge. And then once I spent a few months with the team, it just became something that I was just fascinated by and passionate about. So I would tell you, it wasn't necessarily at the time about payroll. It was about Teakwood, and it was about meeting this great team. So some of the people, when you think about a Joanne Foster who leads operations, or Will Ride, who at the time was doing customer service, or James Hayworth, who leads our sales, it was really about them. That's who it was about. And we've been on this journey, by the way, Nick, together for almost 10 years. The team didn't change. We grew up together. I learned with them. They learned with me. And we grew up and we built this amazing company. And now we're part of another amazing company, Vistra. So it was really about the people that once I got there that caused me to stay.
Fantastic. Well, actually, you won't know this, Curtis, but I've watched iiPay's growth and change over the last decade. I've been in the payroll industry now for 23 years this year. And we've actually had a role in supporting iiPay with various payroll-related hires over the years at JJ Recruitment. So I've been kind of close to your business to see it shift. And I would say that, you're one of the individuals that have been very much at the forefront of showing payroll to be a strategic business enabler, right? And I'm keen to understand from your side that as we see payroll evolving from purely administrative function into strategic business enabler, for want of a better term, what do you think the industry needs to do to really cement this in, to really get other organizations and other departments within large organizations to really start to appreciate the value that payroll can have, whether that's workforce intelligence or whether that's just some of the trends and the data they can provide to senior boards and CHROs and CFOs and beyond? I'd love to get your take.
It's important that we really focus on the value that payroll provides. So you talked about a couple of the items. So it's not just, by the way, it's table stakes that we need to pay people on time. We need to pay them accurately, and we need to pay them compliantly. So that's table stakes.
Sure.
There's so much more value in payroll, and we got to continue to communicate that. So think about payroll as a strategic business driver, providing business intelligence capability, giving financial visibility, giving a view of workforce planning, workforce analysis, and being a part of the fabric and culture of the organization. Let me give you an example and a story that related to when I first joined payroll. So I joined in May of 2016, and in July 2016, Will Ride, who at the time led our customer success team, and he still does, in addition to other capabilities, we went to visit some clients on the East Coast. And at the time, Nick, those clients weren't necessarily happy with us.
Okay.
And so we went to this one client, and this client is in the travel advisory space. And what this client did is she said to us, Curtis and Will, let me take you around the building. And so what this client showed us is where people work, showed us where people have the lunch, showed us the atrium and where they had their town halls, showed us where they had the Friday beer parties as well. Showed us that.
Nice.
Also showed us how people were bringing their pets to work. So they showed us the culture that they create. And what this leader said to us, and by the way, this was 10 years ago, but we had this client since about 2012, 2013. What this client said to us is, payroll is an integral part of the fabric of our company, integral part of the culture of our company. When we get payroll right, we're reinforcing that culture. When we get payroll wrong, it detracts from that culture. So that's what instilled in me 2 months after joining iPay. That's what instilled in us, the value of payroll. So payroll is an integral part, Nick, of the employee value proposition. And the more we communicate that, the more we make sure people understand payroll is about people. Payroll is about culture. Payroll is about employee engagement. Payroll is about not only attracting the right talent, but retaining that talent. And then helping people understand that payroll is important to the HR part of the organization, the finance part of the organization. The more we continue to communicate that and not view it as it's just something we have to do, the more people will start to realize the value of payroll in their companies, the value of payroll as an industry. And we're going to continue to do our part to be at the forefront of that in terms of how we interact with our clients, how we communicate in the marketplace, how we spend time with people like you, Nick, who've been in the industry for 20 years, understand it like the back of your hand. That's what's key. Those are the things we got to do, Nick, to keep it at the forefront and to actually elevate it as we move forward.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same hymn sheet here for sure. There's, as lovely as it is to bring your dog to work day and things like that you can be, it means nothing if your pay is incorrect. And
That's
actually,
correct.
some of the stats reinforce some of the comments you made there. I think if a pay error is made in a yearly cycle, apparently that employee is 24% more likely to look for a new job. That jumps to 49% if they're paid incorrectly twice in one calendar year. 2 payroll errors and half your workforce are potentially now looking for a new job. So we need to get this right. But we also know that regulatory change is accelerating worldwide at a phenomenal pace. So from your perspective, what are some of the trends that are shaping payroll today from a compliance perspective? And why is it becoming so complex for global organizations?
I'll give you a couple of examples, Nick. The one that we've been spending a lot of time on is pay transparency. That's a big topic. And when we talk about pay transparency, it's really about pay equity. And this also gets back to it's about people. How does each individual have the opportunity to fulfill their full potential when they come to work for a company? So pay transparency is a big one. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. And you know this better than I believe, Nick, you're in the UK. So if you think about pay transparency, we're seeing it in the EU with pay transparency regulation. It's all about pay equity. So you're in the recruitment space, Nick, when people apply for jobs or people in current jobs, they want to know that they're being paid fair wages for the work that they're doing. And so pay transparency is about helping with that. And so whether it's out there looking at job ranges or salaries for different jobs or salary ranges for different jobs, whether it's ensuring that whether I'm male or female, that I get paid the same for the same work. So gender pay and gender equity, pay transparency is huge. And so that's really, really critical. Another one, and you see this, and by the way, even in the US, Nick, we're seeing several states that have adopted pay transparency legislation. So when you look at states like California, New York, New Jersey, and some others, they want to make sure that people feel like they're being treated fairly, compensated fairly, and so forth. So it just comes down to pay equity. I would give you one other example, again, that creates complexity and that we have to work through is payroll and benefits in the UK. You're probably familiar with that one. When employees are getting benefits in kind now, interesting, Joe Foster, police operations, she and I were talking about this just last week. When employees get benefits in kind, normally you would do a P11D, and you do that at the end of the year. And now we want those benefits to be just a part of the normal payroll process. So whether you're getting a gym membership or a allowance for a company car, or whether you're getting private benefits, we want all of that to be a part of payroll going forward. And we know some companies in the UK are doing it voluntarily. EU is mandating it. It was supposed to be 26. I think it's now 27. But these things are happening. And so what we have to do, Nick, is be prepared for it. We have to first proactively understand what these regulations are. We have to sometimes make adjustments to our software and our testing processes to be ready for them. We have to make sure we have the right appropriate compliance checks. And we have to make sure our team is knowledgeable so that we can advise our clients on what's happening ahead of time, not wait until they see it somewhere. We're leveraging technology and leveraging our processes to make sure our clients are aware. So regulation is it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to change. And we as partners to our clients, we have to be there. We have to be ready to offer that compliance service and help our clients understand what the regulatory challenges are. But we're ready and we're doing it.
You highlighted some good ones. I mean, certainly for anyone interested in the UK situation, I've recorded a couple of episodes on the PBICS guidelines. It's quite complex. I think they're hoping for some simplification, to be fair, but it's a really good example of how complex legislation is becoming. I think it's interesting as well because you've talked about the importance of payroll. We know paying people accurately on time is really important, but actually now payroll has a bigger role. We look at pay transparency, which, as you rightly pointed out, is really about pay equity. But I think it gives us further tools to really have an influence on diversity, equity, and inclusion as well. Because when we've got that data, we can look at ethnicity pay gaps, we can look at disability pay gaps, we can have all of these things at our disposal to be able to give better data back, to make more informed decisions, to really look after the people, which of course is the most important thing.
Right.
I guess I've got one question which I'd like to ask you, which is, do you think there will ever be a global standardization for these things? I know it's incredibly complex. Every country has its own set of rules and regulations. In fact, the States has 52 different, every state is different. So tell me a little bit about that. How do you see it from a global perspective? Do you think there will ever be a time in the future when everything is standardized?
Well, Nick, I won't say never. What I will say is it's our hope that there becomes standardization. But as you and I both know, even within corporations today, let's just take even our own company, Vistra, almost 10,000 employees around the globe. In one part of the world, we do things one way. In another part of the world, we do it another way. In another part, we do it another way. And we're working on that process to standardize as we move forward. That's what corporations are doing. I think if we can come up with some kind of legislation that works around the globe, we have a shot, but it's very complex. I'd love to tell you, I believe I will see it in my lifetime. I don't know. It's just a difficult process, but it would be great if we could standardize. Now, if you think about what's happening with the EU has started to standardize certain things, and then UK is picking them up. I can tell you at one point I thought we would only see pay transparency in the EU, but we're starting to see it in the US. We're starting to see pay transparency. I think it's something like 20, 26 states. We believe other states will adopt them. Over time, it will probably happen, but it will take some time. It will absolutely take some time. But I believe there's a chance it could happen.
Attention, payroll leaders. If you're listening to this, you already know that payroll has never been more complex. Compliance risks are rising, skilled talent is scarce, and getting it wrong can cost your business way more than just money. It can cost you trust, retention, and of course, brand reputation. I'm Nick Day, host of this show and also CEO of JGA Recruitment Group, specialist global payroll recruiters. Here at JGA, we're so passionate about payroll, we've even turned it into music. Don't believe us? Head to your favorite audio platform and search for Payroll Powers the World, and you can quite literally join us in song about how we believe payroll deserves its moment in the boardroom to shine. At JGA, we'd like to think our passion shines through to our recruitment results as well. With a 97% retention rate and an average 19-day job brief to hire success rate, we work fast, we work strategically, and we work with purpose to connect you to the hidden payroll talent that job ads and direct search methods will simply never reach. So if you're hiring or indeed planning to hire, why not partner with the experts that are shaping the future of payroll? Partner with jgarecruitment.com today, or better yet, drop me a message directly, and together we can make sure your next payroll hire is your best one yet. Well, it does link to my next question, and really, which is, how can AI, artificial intelligence, really support this rapid change in compliance, this real-time visibility across jurisdictions? How do you see the role of artificial intelligence really having an impact on compliance globally in the future?
When AI is really critical, we know it's the big thing now. It's what everybody's focused on. We're focused on it here at Vistra. AI, I think we think about it in kind of multiple phases of multiple components. First, how do we leverage AI internally? So first, what we're doing internally is making sure that we leverage it in our software development to increase productivity. We're making sure that to ensure that we get accurate reporting, analytics and analysis. That's one piece. Two, leveraging AI to make sure we stay up to speed with this complex legislation and the regulatory requirements. So we're leveraging tools and capability there. And then when it comes to clients, it's how do we automate the entire payroll process? How do we ensure that we have automated validations? How do we ensure that our clients' employees can interact and get their questions answered around not just their pay statement, but any kind of regulatory legislation that impacts their pay. So on multiple fronts, AI is going to play a big role. It's already playing a role today. We have a vision in the future for not just 26, but 26, 27, and 28. We have this whole concept, and I know it's the holy grail of payroll, but zero touch payroll.
Yeah.
And AI is going to play a role in helping us to do that because it's about automation. It's about leveraging all the capabilities we already have today. And it's about leveraging AI to make things simpler for the future. That's really our focus around AI. And that's how we believe it can help us as we move forward.
Absolutely right. And I did see somewhere that you said that AI isn't replacing payroll, it's enhancing it. And I think there's a lot of fear out there around AI. And what does that mean for me? If we have a touchless payroll service, which is what everyone's trying to get to, where does that leave me as the payroll professional here? What's my role going to be? I have very clear views on this and I'm very excited for the future. And I think they should be too. But I'd love to get your view.
Yeah, the roles don't go away. I was talking to an industry analyst and a market person who was doing an interview with me, and we talked about once you deploy AI, do the roles go away? The roles don't go away; they just change.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you remember, Nick, 20 years ago, we thought all the libraries would go away when the internet came along. Now people go to the library, they enjoy it, they leverage the internet, but the library still exists. So we always had this concept of something that's going to take away our jobs, take away our livelihood. In this case, AI is going to enhance everything that we're doing. Even as I must tell you a funny story, Nick. If you give me a minute here.
Please.
I was telling my adult daughter that I'm going to have this is my first podcast, by the way, Nick. Just so you know.
Okay. Well, glad we can host you for it. Fantastic.
So I was telling my adult daughter about the podcast. She said, "Tell me about it and who it's going to be with and so forth." So she used AI to get some insight on you, and she shared it with me. And she said, "Oh, Dad, this is going to be a great podcast. AI is telling me that Nick is this kind of person. He's going to take this approach." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So when you think about it, it's enhancing our life experience. It made me more prepared and more comfortable to have this podcast and this session here with you today. So when you think about whether or not AI is going to replace the jobs, I just don't see that happening. I see people spending time on other things, more time with clients, more time with nurturing relationships. And that's what's critical. And Nick, if I can relate this to something that is important for us and why we've been able to win with clients, they look at the technology, it's important, that becomes table stakes. They look at the processes, that's important, that becomes table stakes. But when they make the decision, they're making the decision based on the person that they've interacted with. Do I trust James? Do I trust Curtis? Do I trust Joe? Do I trust Will? It comes down to a trusted partnership. So AI won't replace that. And so it won't replace that. It's about people. Remember, payroll is about people. It's about people you trust to do the work to ensure people are paid on time, accurately, compliantly. It's about people. The thing we say to our clients, even in the sales process, we're not going to be perfect. We will make a mistake because we're humans. And no matter how much technology we use, we're humans. But we say we will be accountable and we will own it and we will fix it and we'll make it right and we'll avoid it going forward. And so I link that back to your question about the concerns about AI replacing people. Personally, I don't see it. We don't see it. That's not our focus, and that's not how we're looking.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think the World Economic Forum said that there's almost 2 jobs being created for every 1 job that's being changed, which I think is really important. And also, just to throw some of your own stories back at you here, I did some research myself using AI, and I found out when it comes to Vistra, right? We know that AI for error detection, over 20% of US payrolls contain errors, but actually AI is reducing correction costs at Vistra, if I understand it to be correct, at around $291 per error. I mean, these are significant results that shows the power of what AI can do if it's used really intelligently. And I think that's a really good example. But what I really loved about your last response was you used the word trust. And I think people forget how powerful the humble payslip is. That is our opportunity as a business to tell our people that here is the trust. We're not going to break our trust. We're going to pay you for the work that you do. You've done what you said you would do for us, and we're going to pay you accurately and compliantly in return for the work that you've submitted. And we know that payslip represents someone's school shoes, their nursery fees, a grandparent's care, whatever it is. We get that wrong, and it impacts every part of someone's life. And it's such an important document. And of course, payroll speaks to every single person within an organization, every single pay cycle. I mean, what other department does that? So I love the fact you use the word trust. I think it's so important.
Trust is critical. Let me give you a little bit of perspective. I'm going to relate it back to trust, but I'll give you a little bit of perspective on this acquisition, kind of why it occurred, what it means, and what's resulted from it. And it links back to the trust. So think about this. iiPay, 300 plus person company. We grew revenue 20x. Some of the largest clients in the world, brand names you would recognize. Then we were acquired by Vistra. And now we're part of Nick, a company that's $1 billion plus in revenue, almost 10,000 people, doing business in over 170 countries around the globe. And now we have the opportunity to take what was this agile, nimble iPay, doing fantastic work when sometimes clients will question, are you going to be around? And now we're part of something bigger, part of something greater. And now we can go to our clients and offer payroll capabilities, HR advisory capabilities, EOR capabilities, entity management setup, tax advisory capabilities. Now you talk about trust. You have the opportunity to go to those same clients and say, you trusted us for payroll, or those clients who have trusted Vistra for entity management. We can bring the whole enchilada together. So when you think about it, we have this mission of progress without friction. So we're saying to corporations, whether you're small, mid-sized, or large, come to us. Give us the opportunity to partner with you, trust us so that we can help you move your business forward, so that you can go do that which you do best, and we can do all of those things that really aren't your core business. And so to me, that's the value proposition. And Nick, I want to give you 2 real examples of what's happened since the acquisition, give you some perspective on how this has worked for us. We won the largest deal in the history of iPay and Vistra for global payroll in November of this year. So think of a financial and risk assurance company, over 10,000 employees in many countries around the globe. They chose us. And my view is if it was just iPay, they wouldn't have chosen us. But because it's iPay and Vistra, and because we can offer more, they chose us. And then follow that up with the second largest deal in client in the history of the company, a large brand name retailer that you and I would know. We put our sneakers on and know right away. And they said, we choose Vistra iPay. And that's because we've now come with this value proposition of technology, value proposition of, you talk about AI, of a roadmap for product and technology that will span years to come. We're talking about, I've mentioned names of people because it's all about people that they trust to not only deliver the payroll services, but to be there with them through the challenges and the not so good situations, but as well as the good situations. So it's an amazing opportunity, Nick. So we're really excited about where we are and what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it comes down to a trusted partnership. That's the word we use. And we often get the question, what differentiates Vistra iPay from any other company. For us, it's all about trusted partnership. Everybody's going to have technology, everybody's going to have processes, but who can you trust? Who can you rely on? Who can you count on? And for us, it goes back to trusted partnership.
Yeah, you've been very honest on this interview for sure, and I think you've really opened up people's eyes and ears to really understand what a holistic, frictionless payroll operation can look like against a backdrop of unbelievable complexity, uncertainty around AI. It can be made simple. It can be simplified. It can be managed effectively by an organization that isn't a new industry to this market that's been doing this for over 10 years with you at the helm. So, for those that do want to find out more, I will put a link in the show notes as well, so you can click straight through and find out more about your services. But I think that's a great way to sort of finish the main part of the interview. Let's open the payroll vault, because I think there are going to be some questions here, which I think some of our listeners are going to be keen to hear your answers on. So the first is, what is one piece of advice you wish you'd received at the start of your career?
I must tell you, I'm a big Colin Powell fan. I read all of his books. I've watched him when he served in different roles. But one of the things he said is optimism is a force multiplier. And to me, the thing that I think I kind of learned it early, but I've now instilled that throughout. And it's not false optimism, but it's that optimism that's contagious, that gets people excited about what they're doing, and that they can see a future. Oftentimes we're and Nick, you've been in the payroll industry for 20 years. We know there's some tough days in payroll. We know there's some times when things don't go as planned, last minute data provided, but yet we go back to we have to pay the people on time, compliantly, and accurately. And it's a part of the culture. So then it becomes important that we're optimistic even in the midst of challenges. So to me, the big thing that I would say I didn't learn in my first 5-6 years, but I've since learned, it's about optimism and hope, having people see an opportunity that there's a brighter future. So irrespective of where we are today, where are we going? Where are you going in your personal life? Where are you going in your professional life? And always believe that it's something greater. And I've learned that in my own personal life as well. And Nick, I will add something else I know you didn't ask. But for me, the whole beauty of this journey with iiPay and now Vistra, I keep going back to it, is the people that I've worked with. I would have left industry 3, 4, 5 years ago. But when I'm working with the people that I work with every single day, the Harrys, the Joes, the Wills, the James, the Darrens, that's what it's all about. So to me, I would say the optimism being a force multiplier, and then about the people, and it's about humility.
I love all of that. It reminds me of something I came up with called Payroll's Law, where the complexity of a payroll problem is always directly proportionate to how badly you need to leave the office. And it always comes in at 4:49 p.m. The problem comes in, you're desperate to go, and it's always more challenging depending on how badly you need to leave. So last question then is this. If you could give payroll leaders who are listening to this show one piece of advice for 2026, what would it be?
Learn as much as you can. No matter what you're doing, take some time to learn more. Don't ever be complacent, no matter where you are. Don't be complacent. Don't be a victim, no matter what's happening around you. Spend time to read, to listen to podcasts, to learn, to prepare yourself. In our life's journey, Nick, we're going to face challenges. Every day won't be a great day, but what is it? What's our foundation? What have we read? What have we learned? The reason I mentioned Colin Powell is there's things he persevered through, and he keeps going. If you think about our payroll leaders, they persevere through things every day, yet they keep going. When I mentioned the leader for this travel advisory company, I can see her, I can picture her, I've seen her on her tough days, and I've seen her on her best days, but yet she's still a trusted partner with us. So for me, it's about continue to learn, continue to grow. I was talking to an interviewer not too long ago, and he asked me a similar question. And sometimes people think there's not a future in payroll. There's a future wherever you want it to be. Imagine your future.
Yeah.
And go out and make it happen. And that's the advice I would give people. Have a vision for the future, and then go do what's required to make it happen. And sometimes extra hard work. I mean, what you're doing, I suspect, Nick, it started here and it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. And look at what you're doing today, and you're having a major impact on payroll. And what I've told my adult kids, and I told them this when they were younger, do your best work, but more importantly, have an impact on other people's lives. And so what you're doing, Nick, is having an impact on all of us in payroll to create more awareness, to make sure people are aware of how important the industry is, so that then we can continue to move it forward. And there will be opportunities as we move forward, but be willing to learn, be willing to grow.
I couldn't agree more. You've quoted Colin Powell. I'll quote Henry Ford, who said, whether we think we can or we think we can't, we're right. So let's stay more in that can side of things, right? We can move this industry forward. Well, look, Curtis, it's been an absolutely fascinating journey today. Thank you for sharing your insights on the Payroll Podcast. I think your insights regarding global payroll compliance, AI, transformation are all really credible and amazing, but I love the fact you always brought it back to the people. We're in a fantastic industry here full of amazing, fantastic people that work tirelessly to make sure the world continues to get paid. And of course, iiPay and Vistra now are certainly behind the payment of many of those individuals across many organizations worldwide. So if you do want to find out more about the organization, please do click on the links in the show notes of today's episode. And if you have enjoyed today's conversation, please do remember to click follow, click subscribe, but most importantly, share this episode with all of your payroll colleagues and friends. In fact, share it with your family as well. Let them know what you do. Payroll is important. It's all about trust. It's all about passion, or as Curtis would say, optimism that really moves the needle forward. So Curtis, thank you ever so much for joining me today on the Payroll Podcast.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Deal is the global payroll platform built for complexity. From pay slips to benefits to compliance in over 150 countries. Deal centralizes everything in one secure workflow with real-time visibility across your entire workforce. No fragmented systems, no chasing local vendors, just accurate, compliant pay delivered on time, every time. See why more than 35,000 businesses trust Deal. Visit DEEL.com/nickday to book your demo. That's DEEL.com/nickday.